to be clear, I'm gonna publish soon. It's 1:04 p.m. They start at 2:30 apparently. So I checked the map. Actually, it's not like the bookies or how the bet is, whatever you call it. It's Freiburg left visiting Leverkusen. Now, again, they made a mistake when they show it. It's Freiburg. I just saw an article about the match online. They're visiting the stadium. Leverkusen on the right are visiting Leverkusen. So it should be the reverse how they put it, because usually the receiver hand is on the right, the hometown. So in this case, it's Leverkusen that's gonna visit. That can explain the 2-1, but I was behind the guy on the right. And how they gonna play, I might wait live just to see if I have a chance to see it free on YouTube or one of the $20 platform. It will be like a good investment. I had some subscription back in the days. The last thing I want us to say is that in the map I looked, Leverkusen is on the left in the real map, and Freiburg is on the right, and they're gonna play hometown. So I think what I saw is that, given the end, maybe I saw the second goal, like the free kick, he missed it. But he scored. He went to the stadium. The stadium, there's nobody is watching the game. Like nobody's watching the game. You cannot go and buy a ticket because of the virus. Man, this automatic sharp light, I fixed it and it's still coming, man. Anyways, I apologize for that. If there is to apology for that. And fuck. So I personally think, but don't think that. I just wanted to say the dream, but I think Leverkusen will win 2-1. That explains why the 2 was on the left and 1. But in the bookies, it's different. So in the future, I'll know how with the dream of the spirit and God, if the map prevails or not. In the past, I knew that recently I had the revelation, but man, I'm telling you, it's very hard to know because I don't keep updated, because I don't have a fucking place to sleep yet, because I cannot fucking leave these fuckers in a place. I need my fucking house. I'm too old for this bullshit. I'm gonna fucking be next to some fucking guy who put some fucking music in the fucking building. As for money wise, it's between, I told to not to talk about it, so now I'm gonna take 2-1 Leverkusen, and I think what I saw is before halftime and after halftime, which will be mean 1-0. And I think Leverkusen will score on the right. I don't know, man. It's kind of weird, because when he went to the stadium, like tapping the teammates, it was like, don't worry about it, but you did a good job. And the free kick was weird. He came back, he did, but it was just weird. Which goal did I saw? Because just before that or after, I see 1-0, then 1-1. I think I saw 1-0. 1 first, the team on the right, which will be Freiburg, with this kick, and I think after I saw 1-1, but I just see 1-1, and then I saw the finish after that. He went something. It's a bit strange, this one. It's a bit it was not as vivid. And then 2-1 from the left, Leverkusen, and maybe that's like, you still did a good job. Maybe that kick was just the first goal after the first Leverkusen, which will be 1-1, and then it finished 2-1. So halftime, before time and halftime, I apologize for that. Oh man, because there's a big bets on that, but we're not gonna talk about money. If it's gonna be a draw or who's gonna win before time and halftime, those are very, very juicy, very bringing the good thing. But I'll be patient, because this is just the beginning, I guess. And getting information. So I'll go 2-1 just in case if it stop and whatever, 2-2, because it's not gonna bring nothing like a draw, and maybe again 1-2. But I'll go with 2-1. But because it's between 8 and 12 times your money, I might just cover the other ones. God knows. I do think that the nail, the nail, there's a boxer coming from Ukraine and the boxing boot, right? And in Ukraine, I would say to maybe because of that, Russia, because the nail was coming from right to left, like east to right, right? To and the guy, the arbiter, was the other side of the boot, that and twisted up, almost if I was Leverkusen or on that side, but it was more like not left to right, it was more bottom to up, and maybe up was Russia. So I would say that nail that goes to Ukraine, like the boxer, the nail that I prophesized that Beterbiev would have won, and that was dear to me because I tried to be a boxer like 2 years ago. I didn't care if I was 37, but I had to race. And after I caught myself in a fight with one girl and four guys, big ugly fucking, they were not working, and just she wanted to fucking rub shoulders. I don't know what the fuck. I was just passing there and trying to take my power. Uh, and touch me, and I said, don't touch me, I don't touch girls. And then because all the guys behind and they wanted to jump me, I did the minimum, and then I go because I wanted to be a boxer, and I went Vancouver. What I wanted to say, and this thing is still not fixed, by the way, and this thing, but I had a feeling last summer that I was calling the police. I put it and I said, one of those, and they were checking and said, they're fine. So make that happen, okay? The intelligence, because I'm fucking sick of everything, man. These battles that God called, and they're true battles when you're good. And I wanted to say, fucking bums, and it's so ridiculous how the fucking devil can get you. And then I dreamed that I was in depression because I fell down on my leg, and it was painful, little muscle, and was watching only boxing. I was in depression, and then because I didn't keep up the race, I had one lost after I don't know how many fights, 20 or 30 professional. I hope they were professional. And Beterbiev was the guy, he Facebooked me friend, and I had this tiger eye, like they say, this very, and he started to have it after. And that picture that I had on Facebook, like this this whatever, and he started to get it, and he killed, he beat up the nail. He's still the champion, but I put the prophecy of it. I invite you to see the prophecy, and I said he's gonna fell down, Beterbiev, but not fell, just the balance, come back and knock the guy out. They were both not having been knocked out before, and he knocked the nail out. So after that, I said that he didn't defend, he put it, and there was a war with China, and he was a martyr, and he went to the army. What I wanted to say about this is, if I could speak to Russian and Putin, is to get out, that's to Ukraine now, and if I twist it up, so people can still put the right shoe and walk, twist it upward, which means towards like God, not let's go in the sky instead of firing into each other, advancement, instead of doing something armament. Let's not, if they have to get busy, science and the means, exploration, it's still better than but let's put it upwards towards God, the vision, instead of against each other and expansion. I think that's what it means, because of the nail, the boot, the right, and the boxer, the boot boxing. So I think that's what it means. What do you think? And Putin, man, I invite you to do, I'm gonna repost this dream as God give it to me, because I missed two what do you call this, two specification, like the red, not the red, the high waterly, and the force that was pushing me down on this desk. as the God figure. I just kind of say it, but didn't really was clear. I'm gonna repost it. The dream I had in end of May 2019, and I made one yesterday about specifically somebody that was that threat that it seems to me as interpretation, but I'm not gonna publish this uh, for my own well, God protects me, but I'm not gonna test God I'm just gonna say what God said. And I put one video about a week back dream, like 40 minutes, but I'm gonna take this down as soon as I put all those dreams, probably today. I'm not sure if I mention it. I know I've done the video like all week and I deleted a lot because I cut back 2 weeks. Okay, it's a bit late. It's 12:30. Okay, 32. Freiburg is gonna play Leverkusen. I said I'm gonna do the dream. I received the dream, but not before waking up 2 times. And I'm thinking, nothing. Okay, God doesn't want me to do this. But at 10:50, I did woke up, but I had zero battery from last night, staying a bit late, studying and at 10. So what happened is that I do receive. Yeah, I didn't have time to think about it. They're playing what 2:30, but receiving team is Leverkusen, visiting is Freiburg. That's if the bookie or how they put it online doesn't do a mistake. I've seen in the past, maybe I've checked about 5 teams, 5 plays, only 10. I'm kind of new in that too. It's been months, but I'm not steady on that. So what happened is that sometimes they would switch. I don't know if they toss a coin or they figure out, but sometimes it's not always like the visitors on the left in the field and the receiving is on the right. Like I said, maybe they toss a coin like in football, and halftime they switch. So what happened is that I see that the right team would score. When the left team score, I didn't see it. It was like 1-1. And I was behind after this, or at the beginning. It starts like I'm behind the star of the team, which I believe it's in Leverkusen. I'm behind him instead of watching it from this point of view as a map, global map, the world or the betting side, which visitor on the left and receiving on the right. So I'm behind this star player. He kicks it. I think it's gonna be a free kick. I first thought in the dream it's the penalty because everything stops, but a free kick close to the goal. Everything stopped, but he had an opening because I was behind him, and when he shoot it, he missed it, and people were disappointed because he's the star and he had an opening. So, and I'm in the field at this time. Maybe one of the team player, he has a name of a prophet or something that is gonna be behind him. But anyways, he kicked, or I'm the arbiter. No, I'm not the arbiter, or maybe one of the two. Is there two arbiter? I think so, because you're gonna see why at the end of the dream. So he kicks, but it comes back. I think he touched the bar. It comes back, and he did it. He kind of the top right, and I wasn't even sure if it enter or not. After this guy goes in the stand, and I don't know if it's two, if he scored 2 times the same player or 2-1. I'm not sure. He taps the player when he goes back, the team, but the team are like in like the spectator, maybe because of the coronavirus right now. The place have empty seat where he taps the player, it doesn't matter, you did your best, no worries that you missed it. But it was 2-1 actually. He did, I think, score. I think why it's not too obvious, maybe something happens in the team, or God doesn't want it to be too clearly at this point, because I'm doing it live now. No interpretation like I tried months before. So I'm just telling you the dream. So score 2-1, and then what happened, it's very strange. After this guy do this, and he's the star because he has like a bit of hair, like Maradona type of style. I don't know the team players in that, the star. He goes inside, taps the player, which are almost like the spectator, and then it stopped. And also heard it's not gonna change nothing. before or within the dream. So it was weird. I thought it's like a draw, but 2-1, and the 2 was on the left, which is strange because I'm behind the guy on the right and they score on the left. So I hate those switching. I might study it, and if not, again, I repeat, I was behind the guy that scored from right to left, a goal. But the 2 was on the left side, almost as right now it's Freiburg. But it seems like it was Leverkusen winning. I don't get it. Maybe they're gonna switch place. I'm gonna think about it, start to think finally. But then the strange thing is that the arbiter stopped the thing. Like, it's not gonna change. The arbiter stopped the thing, and we check a construction boot. It was very weird. He stopped the thing because, not a cheating, but he stopped the thing because the boot that was my boot was used by people. I don't know if it's gonna be this betting thing in the future or something. It gonna stop, and they were checking the boot, and the boot on the top right, I don't know if it has to do something. The sole underneath, like this fucking, what is this called? That the cushion inside the thing, on the top right, there was a chunk going bad, like missing because of the play of people using it. And the arbiter checked that, I checked that. I put my hand inside, which is, it seems like not too clean, used. I put my hand, and there's a nail going. Suddenly I'm trying to figure out how to put back that cushion missing, and suddenly a nail appeared in the front, which I saw what people didn't see. So I'm pushing the nail back and forth, and when I push it, the sole comes back. So I'm like, look, and I'm showing the arbiter in front of me. We're in the field. He looked at it, he looked at the nail, but he didn't put his hand, his left hand inside, or another hand, I don't know why. And I was thinking in the dream before it finished that if I screw like inside the shoe, like twist the nail, like instead of just being inside the shoe, twist the nail like this, that we could continue the play and put the shoe back. Maybe that has something to do in the world, now that I'm thinking, without that game especially. Really not killing, not nailing people, each other, or hurting each other. Okay, so I don't know why 2-1 on the left. It seemed interrupted. I hope there's not gonna be a joke, and 2-2, which is not gonna change. It's a draw. It stopped. The 2 was on the left, but the guy that I seen Leverkusen was on the right. So that's not good. It's a first one live. I think I'm gonna continue, but I'm not. If I can restrain, maybe I'll put just 50-50, 2-1 each team. But it's not big odds. I think it's 5 times only, which. Or just wait tomorrow, like Trump says. I'm not in a rush, just like yeah. So I think the nail was the right boot. The nail that didn't see, I thought about twisting it upright, and the sole that was missing was on the top right. Could this be the top right, you know, the right of the leaders, the left, the right shoe, but the top right was missing, which will be closer to God? Because I want to say something about the left and the right. You see, the left with Clinton, there would have been a war. There's a prophet, like he ate too much, he died, and he saw the apparition of Virgin Mary, Joseph Terelia in the East Church, and he was in Toronto where I was. And apparently they made a joke, he died when he was about to go to the restaurant, so maybe he started to eat too much, thinking that his time was up. It's funny, it's not funny, I don't know. What I wanted to say here is that the left is bad. Obviously, you're sinning. For me, left is sinning. I was without church, atheist. I didn't know God when I was. You could have qualified me as an atheist. I was in the worst left. My dad was Hollywood. I didn't have that grow up. I was watching the movie maybe Pulp Fiction 30, 40 times in my life, maybe 100 times. Now, what I wanted to say, and I was French, what I wanted to say here, but in English too, is that, see, the Bible says when the leader is good, the whole nation prospers. So Putin on the right, he's a good one. Now, the right Trump, though, he's a bit corrupt. Jesus showed me he's corrupt. So maybe that's because he's in the part of the Illuminati that runs the world and he has his own personal gain. At least it's better, because Hillary, if I would have won, I published it at the G in 2021. Invitation for me to the shelter when I was doing art, Fallout Shelter, which is mean nuclear war. Now, that was not, it's not hard to see. She was talking against Russia. They're really macho. They wouldn't have taken from a woman leader. That's impossible in my book. I just know, if they're the most plain macho in the world, do you think they would have taken that after the friction of Cold War and everything? I don't think so. In the big country. So what I wanted to say here is that Trump, the far right, but they're missing the top right in that right booth, which means closer to God. Like the sky, top right, there was a chunk missing, a little, like maybe 1/3. So they're missing that part. A right guy, closer to God. And when I pushed the nail, they didn't see it. To push the nail, the soul would have come back. What is the nail? I'm not sure yet, but then I had the feeling that when I showed it to the arbiter, he didn't put his hand to touch the nail inside, which was going still big like this. So before the dream finished, I had a thought to twist it upward. So is this nail? I'm gonna leave this to you to think. I don't know. I heard to leave it to you to think what this nail could be. I don't know what it is. I cannot even think. I was thinking about something, but I won't even say. I can say it.